When you're going into a gym, do they pay attention to the white belts? Do they have a beginner's program? You want to go to a place where there's some priority placed on you?
If somebody's thinking about jiu-jitsu, what should they expect? How do they pick a gym? What
Okay.
tips do you have for somebody thinking about jiu-jitsu?
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, when you're going into a gym, do they pay attention to the white belts? Right? Do they have a beginner's program? Right? If you go to a class and you're a beginner and you're just kind of left to the side, I mean, you can get better at that if you're just a naturally good athlete. Eventually over time you're going to get better. But yeah, you want to go to a place where there's some priority placed on you.
Yeah.
At least on your growth and your development. I think that's important, and not all gyms do that. We have a beginner's program now, just to really, because beginners require different things than people that are a little bit farther along in their journey.
And it's intimidating for
yeah,
white
well,
belts
dude,
too.
it's like, yeah, for me, my journey was different. I came from like a heavy wrestling background.
Yeah.
Starting jiu-jitsu was not hard for me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It's just like walked in and was beating people up from wrestling. And
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
So it's different than somebody that didn't have that and is getting beat up and they don't
Right.
have. And I also had a relationship with violence, so it was
Yeah.
fine for me. If you're starting a martial art, you don't have a relationship with violence and you're going into this thing, I could very much understand how that would be scary.
Right.
Right. So understand that you're taking this thing on for the reasons that you're taking it on, whether you want to learn how to defend yourself, you want to be more physically confident. I think, man, and I think that's like, it's kind of not answering your question, but I think it's an important point. I actually did a poll recently asking women how much do you consider, do you want to feel safe with your man in the midst of danger? Do you want the man that you're with, is it important to you that he can create calm in the face of danger, that he has a relationship with either violence or danger, right? Doesn't mean you have to like violence,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't mean that you even have to like danger, but you have a relationship with it enough that you can be a source of safety when in the face of danger. 100% of the women said that was important to them.
Right.
Now, when I walk around San Diego, I see evidence to the opposite because there's a lot of very passive, fragile men, particularly where I live in North Park.
Yeah.
And I think, like, man, it's a thing in California, like largely speaking.
Yeah.
And not that jiu-jitsu is a fix-all for that.
Right.
Right. But it will confront you with doing something hard regularly. It will confront you with failure regularly. And it's really important to do something hard and to fail at things regularly.
Right.
Because it builds up my ability to persist.
Right.
And that's so important. I think it's the reason why divorce rates are so high. People don't persist through difficult things. Now, of course, if there's physical abuse present or something like that, yeah, get out of the relationship. That shit's done, right? But if it's just neither of us know how to communicate, and the persistence would be we need to learn how to communicate our difficult emotions as we move through this process so that we can strengthen our relationship.
Right.
Dude, that's going to be necessary in a romantic relationship. That's going to be necessary in a business relationship.
Yep.
When you get into a partnership with somebody and it makes business sense, then you guys got to learn how to coexist and get along and make this partnership work.
Right.
Right. So that you don't leave fucking mortal enemies or one trying to fuck the other over.
Right.
So jiu-jitsu to me is just a way to get familiar with persistence. I don't care. Is it the only way? No, absolutely not. Right? There's a bunch of different ways. You want it to be hard.
Yeah.
You want it to be something that sometimes you don't want to push through it, but you do anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes you even don't push through it. And then you got to go home and reflect, why didn't I push through that?
Yeah.
That didn't feel good. Tomorrow I want to come back and push through where I failed or I stopped today.
Right. Right.
And I don't think there's enough of that in people's lives. I think people are sheltered from it. I definitely see people shelter their kids from that.
Yeah.
I know a few good parents that really walk their children through adversity in a way that I think is really healthy, but shielding anybody from adversity for long periods of time is actually hurting them. You are making them weaker. You're making them fragile. There is nothing noble about being fragile.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Fragile means I cannot handle difficulty or hard things. Now, I don't wish hard things upon you just for the sake of wishing hard things upon you, right? But I think it's a pretty general fact of life that there are going to be times that are hard, and the ability to persist through that is important. The alternative, I can't handle this, so I'm going to blame the thing that's hard for being hard and want somebody to come fix it for me because it's not fair.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so you literally breed a victim mentality when you shield people from difficulty.